years to lead up to that moment.
Okay.
Oh,
This show is
So how do we wrap our heads around this one?
man.
I don't know. Where do you want to start?
Right.
Because I mean, you were right. Sasha ate the bullet. I mean, you've been saying it for the past few episodes.
Because the dragged out look after she saw her after she killed those soldiers, I was like, yo, that is the point. That is going to be the point of her revenge. Like she is going. I was like, Sasha gonna eat it.
But here's the part that messed me up, yo. Again, what's the name? They bump the what's the name? They get on the ship. Sasha did not turn around. Sasha had her back turned to that chick. So I'm like, how do you know who you were shooting?
I think she was just trying to shoot anybody she could.
Yeah,
I don't think necessarily aiming at. It's just the poetic justice of the situation. Like,
yeah. I think she was just aiming at anybody. She just because you saw she just slid in there and shot it. That could have been anybody, and it just happened to be Sasha. But I had a feeling they were going to write it up to where it was Sasha that was going to take that L. But it does give credence to their point. Every time Aaron gets captured or goes off on his own and does something, they end up losing people. And I can tell with once Sasha was gone, I was like, okay, you know what? They had enough of this. And you saw they had Aaron tied up. Like, we're done with you. You knew we were gonna come get you, and we lost Sasha because of it. And Lobos, whatever the dude's name that old girl shot and fell to the ground.
The commander,
the commander. Yeah. Like we knew we knew that this was going to happen coming after you, and you dragged us into this.
It's crazy how in one episode it flips perception. Like this show is so well written, bro. Because you could assess from the past even 3 or 4 episodes that Aaron, is completely in control of the situation. But then little things start to bleed in. Like Mikasa's like, why don't you come home, Aaron? Or like, them even coming up and being like, yo, what is Aaron doing here? And like things starting to kind of happen. You're like, this ninja went rogue and there's a situation. So it's like, as much as he has grown, as much as he is, sharpened himself to be a better fit soldier and leader, he still is also making very pivotal mistakes. And again, the biggest thing for me in this episode is this is the first time he had like an emotional reaction. This whole entire time, he's just been cold and callous because he's had to be. But the moment he asked Connie, what was her last words, like he at first he laughed, and then at first like he just broke down. Like it. This show is masterclass in every way, shape, or form. Like I don't know how to articulate it any other way.
I think for me the thing is if I'm not mistaken, Aaron has lost many people in his life, right? He's lost his mother. He realized what happened with his dad. He almost lost Armin. And I mean, I think this is the first time he has felt that not only did he lose someone that he is close to, because the scouts lose people all the time. And I don't mean to sound crass about that, but the scouts are known for losing. They're known so much for it. People don't ever really want to join the scouts like that. Because they know that every time they go out of them walls, they're going to their death, possibly. But this is the first time I think Aaron has had to deal with someone out of that original cadet group that is gone, and 2, understanding that he is the cause for it. Like they just laid that out to his face. Every time you go off the edge and do something, you always cost us lives in the end. Determined to go to the basement, determined to go after the Titans after something happens. You always go off the deep end. And when we try to rein you back in, we end up losing more people just for you. But in this particular case, it's like, yo, dude, you're a grown man now. You are literally a grown man, and you still doing the same BS. And they're tired of it.
Yeah, it's hard because technically, even if I went like let's go 2 seasons, like season 1, season 2. Aaron made some different decisions in things that he decided to do, but a lot of those things just happened to him. People wanted to kill him. People were targeting him. He was being kidnapped. He was being manipulated. And every single time, like, he started losing more and more of his humanity because of the guilt. Like, even old dude, like the guy that saved him and Mikasa in the beginning, like the Titan that ate his mom, like literally killed this same man that saved him. And he couldn't do anything about it. He didn't put himself in that situation. It happens. And this is the first time for me that I think what he really did, honestly, I think he went over there to try to take care of it himself, but he didn't think about the ramifications of it after the fact.
Right.
Like, he knew for a fact that he was trying to do, he needed to do alone, but he didn't care or think whether or not this could be a disadvantage to everybody that he knows.
So here's the thing. I don't think he thought that it was a disadvantage. I think what Henji said made waves, because she said, you put your trust in us and we've lost our trust in you. I think he looked at it as, I can just call in the squad and the squad is just going to wreck shop. We've done so much that you just become complacent, and I think in his mind, he was like, look, I'm going to call the squad. We're going to handle everything. We're going to get accomplished. We're going to roll out. And in his mind, he probably thought, yeah, we may lose some people, but it's not going to be my squad,
Yeah.
And now it's someone from his squad, like that he grew up with in cadet corps, that he has been close to as friends and colleagues and side by side warriors. And not only is she gone, but he's basically the cause of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
this is a big question, though. Now that we know that Zeke was in on this, right?
Yeah.
Does this mean that Aaron intentionally let Raynor live? Because the reason why I asked you that, I mean, it didn't make sense to me that they didn't just go ahead and kill this man. Like, he was on his last leg. Aaron was still cooking. And it didn't make sense. Why are you letting this man go? Right? And even more than that, even if like, say Raynor isn't in on any of it and didn't know, like, what is the end game here? What is Zeke attempting to do? Because it seems like Zeke in his own head is like, okay, I gotta keep my people from being enslaved anymore. Like, I'm doing turncoat. Like, the Eldians need to be protected, so I'm gonna go and trade sides. But what does that really mean? Like, he didn't tell his own people. Like, even the people that he's training up, like, nobody knows,
right?
Unless they do. I don't know. I just know people died.
Well, here's the thing. You're talking about the guy that betrayed his parents when they were trying to do the same thing.
This is very true.
So he probably knows, him being the person that basically stopped this whole process the last time, he knows that if he told anyone, outside of the inner group that we saw, they would easily snitch him out, because he easily snitched out his own parents. I'm sorry, you snitch out your own parents, ain't nothing not possible, So
True.
I think, and it goes back to my original statement. The question becomes, what happened in those 4 years? We still don't know. We need to know what happened in those 4 years, because that's going to be the bridge that connects what we've seen, to where we are now.
You're right, because you made a comment. You've been saying it all this season. Why weren't they prepared for this?
Right.
That have these devices that literally can go across, and Zeke's seen it. He knows what Levi is capable of. Why wouldn't he convey this over to the Marlians?
Now, here's my problem with that. Zeke wasn't the only one who's seen it. Berto had seen it too. Berto on that material.
Berto
didn't even do that. Berto actually knows how to use ODM gear.
But Berto's dead. You talking about Reiner. You talking about Reiner.
Reiner. Both
right. So the thing that does get me is Reiner. Here's the thing: Reiner, Zeke, and Pick, however you pronounce her name, Pick, the cart titan. They've seen all this. How is it that none of them reported it? That's the thing. How is it that none of them reported what they saw in terms of technology?
Zeke was war chief, so above all of them. So maybe they did report it to a degree. And honestly, I feel like Zeke has been on the side of Eldian screw Marley from jump. He's just done what he felt like he had to do. That seems to be a Jaeger thing.
Well, here's what
but
I agree with you.
So in him feeling like I'm gonna play the long game, I'll be the war chief. He might have played down the abilities of the ODM gear to the Marley, to the people in Marley, his Marley upper chain, and just been like, they're primitive over there. We don't have anything to worry about for real.
So I'm gonna add to that a little bit. What I think what started all this was he is trying to repay the debt that he created turning his parents in.
Yes.
I'm assuming he didn't believe that his parents were going to be killed. And I think when he found out what happened, I think that's when he turned and realized the mistake he made. And I think he has been progressively trying to get this done since that day. And I also agree. I also think he has used the cover of being a military person with the Marleyan army. I think the real reason for him going to Paradise was not to get the founding titan to give it to the Marleyans, but to get the founding titan so Eren could help overthrow the Marleyans. That's what I think this was. And somehow between when they got to the sea and where we saw Eren, then I think Zeke and Eren had a discussion and we're like, well, we can't do this really without the Warhammer and without the jaw, without the cart. I think the plan was to effectively remove the Titans as a whole from the Marleyan military force in order to take it over and get the Eldians free. I just think, Gabby and Falco just threw, wrenches in their plan, along with some other mistakes that happened on the battlefield. But that's what I think. I think from the time he betrayed his parents and saw the results of his actions, he has been trying to get that sucker changed from that point.
Yeah. So just because you haven't said anything yet, Drell, because you might be in shock. Drell, what did you think about this, and what do you have, and what we've talked about in your perspective?
I don't know. I don't really know where to start because I'm not like, I'm not in it like you guys are. Like I've honestly only watched the first 3 seasons, like within the last few weeks or some shit. But no, I thought it was a great, solid episode. I don't know if I can add much more to what you guys have been saying, but I will say that moment where Eren sort of like, not necessarily cried out, but like he started laughing, right? As if like he didn't know any other way to respond.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting sort of seeing the Walter White, I guess, progression of Eren's character. And how many episodes do we have left?
8 now.
8? Yeah.
8. We've got 8 left.
8 left?
We got 8 left.
Shit.
Man. Yeah. No, they get to fill in what happened in them 4 years and then probably give us a nice 2 or 3 episode long action sequence. So let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So the things we tried to pinpoint, I think me and Ty last week, was who's the villain of the story. And this one episode kind of like threw a whole different kind of curveball, because now it ain't as simple as just killing Zeke and then that's it. Now it's the situation where like, okay, Zeke may, I don't necessarily trust that ninja. He may be working Paradise Island and trying to remove the Marlians and their hold or their stronghold over the Eldians. We don't know. But initially before that, it was kind of like, yo, Aaron's going there to eradicate everybody. We still don't know if that's still his goal. We don't know. But at this point, it looks like he was working towards whatever Zeke was trying to do. So it's a situation where I question, okay, Zeke said, I think something along the lines of like, okay, now we got the founding titan. Now we got this. And I think even Levi was like, okay, now we have somebody that has the blood of, such and such that can take care of this, which is Zeke. So technically, if correct, Zeke could eat Aaron and he'll take care of all this. But his team would have to allow that to happen at this point. And now they have every motivation to do that. I just don't know. I don't really know where things go from here, because now I can't pinpoint who actually is the enemy. At the end of the day, they're all bad at this point.
Honestly, I feel like war is the enemy at this point. And Falco pretty much pointed that out. Like, you see what's going on here. You see how this is making you feel. You see the damage and the destruction. Why do you think they're doing it? It's because this happened to them. And it has happened to them for time and time again. And she was so blinded in rage and so programmed by this whole island devil thing that she was like, well, did you see it? Well, it ain't happened. I was like, yo, that's Riley. That's like Riley level gangster right there. And then I'm like, Gabby is a entire real one. And she is very much Aaron Yeager's second coming, just on the other side of this conflict.
Look, she looked at Falco for a minute with a pause, like, did you see it?
Look.
Then bump your thoughts, bump your statement, bump whatever you said about it happened to them. My president is black, my Lambo is blue, and I'm about to go kill me some scouts. like she went hard.
I cannot believe that the girl she was like, fuck it, I'm going in there. I'm murdering everybody.
But here's the thing. Like, yo, I'm not. She seemed very uncomfortable with a rifle. So to get the kill on old boy, that's a moving flying target. Right. And then take his gear, get up there and reload real quick and shoot another. I was like, yo, she's a problem.
She almost shot old dude like in the head if it weren't for the boy like pushing her out of the way.
Yeah. Like, she's not she may not have been comfortable with that rifle, but remember, she's the best of the 4 trainees for the next Titan. So she came and my thing is, why are we not surprised? This is the same chick that faked being a innocent child on the girl on the battlefield and tossed some grenades at the enemy and destroyed that thing and destroyed that bunker. This is the very first episode. She willingly went in there. She was like, I only need permission for you to let me take this take my uniform off. And she went in there like a G. So I'm not surprised by what she did at all. I think the shock for me is this is her friend, this is her people, and she basically looked at him and said, F you. The fact that you even want me to stop running, you soft. I'm gone. Right. Like, that's basically where she was at.
She was next level crazy in this one. Yeah. She did not care. I mean, even the look in her eyes, like right here, I was kind of like, yeah, she's going to kill somebody. Yep. Like, she looks like, it's weird to me because Aaron, back season 1, he looked volatile. He looked crazy. But he never went full crazy until he was in his Titan form. When you saw him underneath the veil, some of the things that he was saying sounded psycho. like for real, for real.
Right.
And we haven't seen him control like that, honestly, since he almost killed Annie. That was the last time he really lost it. And so, but
here's a crazy part about what he said. He said every last thing he said under the veil as a Titan as a kid. It just wasn't threatening coming from a little kid.
Right.
It sounds totally different coming from a full-grown Titan.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. I really don't know. This is a dope episode, but
this is a heavy one. This is a heavy one, Sam. This is a heavy one.
This changed the narrative.
Yeah.
Right.
So the question becomes now. I don't believe. Well, not the question. I don't believe that Zeke is going to eat Eren because I don't think he has to. Because here's the thing. The thing that comes to mind for me is if Zeke eats Eren and gets the founding Titan, who's to say from that moment he doesn't get under the curse of Ymir or the curse of King Fritz and not want to fight? I think Eren has to stay in play and be able to utilize the founding Titan powers without being consumed by someone of royal blood. That's what makes him dangerous, you know, because he can use it without being influenced by that curse. That's what, or the influence of King Fritz. That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to see how Zeke, because remember, Zeke is a tactician. Zeke is intelligent. We saw when he came across that first scout soldier and took off his ODM gear and automatically just knew by looking at it what it did. Zeke is not as many things. He's not dumb. And I'm looking forward to see how they plan to utilize this, because it's already crazy to know that Zeke is has been working with them this whole time. And I could even understand why he didn't tell Reiner, but my thing's this. I think at the end of the day, if there was a way to trust Reiner to keep his mouth shut and Zeke told Reiner would not be going through the emotional and mental distraught that he has been going through. You know,
it's hard because Reiner is a schizo. Part of Reiner really does miss everybody on Paradise Side, and the other part of him is tortured by what he let down with his crew. It may be that in Zeke's mind, he's a liability. He needs him, but he can't trust his mental stability. It could go one way, left or right, no matter what. Like he could choose to abide by everything and then decide, oh man, this guilt's too much. I'm gonna stand up and be a warrior for my faction. You know, it's hard. And I agree with you. It's just Eren right now at this point is too valuable. He has the found the attack and now the Warhammer Titan.
Yep.
In addition to his levels of control in terms of Titan is the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
He has the control than anyone because Zeke's even sitting there still got his limbs still just sitting there. Like he ain't got no. I really don't know what's gonna happen. This was a dope episode. It was heavy. R.I.P. to Sasha. Can't believe she died, even though this man right here has been telling me for the past.
I was hoping I wasn't right. I really didn't want to be right. Like I really did not want to be right. Look, scout salute to my homie Sasha. I didn't want to be right, but I just kept looking at the look on Gabby's face after those three soldiers got killed when they were stopping her from going back to the courtyard. And she looked up and saw that chick. Like that look was too delayed and too long for me to not sit there and think, oh, at some point she's gonna kill that chick. Like Sasha's gonna eat it. You know,
I should have killed her. I got two real quick questions for y'all. One about looks in general, especially long, quote unquote, looks in this narrative. Did you notice how long Armin and Eren looked?
Oh yeah.
That be some old like, yo, you've gone too far, bro. Like, because they haven't talked yet type situation. Like, could that be something crazy?
Yeah.
That moment, see, I'm gonna have to talk about the show on a day where this has been an overwhelming day. But
I hear you, fam.
Yeah.
That moment though really got me though, for sure. Because it's so unclear, like what perspectives they have of each other at this time. You know, damn.
See, I'm with you, Jarrell, but I think there's some conflict there. Because the thing is, I believe that Armin has come to the point where he is like, the fact that I had to do this, like he is my best friend. He knows I'm gonna come and help him. But the fact that I had to put myself in a position to take out an entire naval fleet and kill hundreds of people and literally do the exact same thing that happened to my people on Paradise Island. Armin is not stupid. Armin is the person that will tell you, listen, eye for an eye, cheek for a cheek. You know, that don't work. Armin is more turn the other cheek, and Eren is very much eye for an eye. And that's where they're going to have a serious conflict. I don't know if it's going to be a Titan battle, but it's definitely going to be a conflict, because I don't believe Armin is looking at Eren the same way.
Wait a second, dog. Is this like a fucking like Fox and the Hound type of shit that's about to happen? You remember that shit? They were best friends in the beginning when they were pups, but you know, when they meet up when they're older, totally different story.
I don't know. No, I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be a Fox and the Hound type of situation. I think it's going to be a clash between. I think it's a clash of two friends that as they have grown have two different beliefs. However, they kind of want the same thing. Like Armin doesn't want to fight. Armin's never been a fighter, you know, and because Eren basically saved his life, Armin has now become the one thing he doesn't want to be because of Eren. And now because of Eren, they've also had to come in and fight again when they probably didn't want to or had no reason to. And now because of Eren, they've now lost Sasha. The thing that I think would be a Fox and the Hound situation is if it was Mikasa that caught that bullet and was gone. That probably would have set Armin off. Armin might have just attacked that dude and started punching him into the dang ground. But I don't think that's the case. I think there's going to be a talk amongst the three, and it's probably going to be an intense talk. Maybe even some fisticuffs. But I don't think it's going to be Fox and the Hound level. You know,
when was the last time they saw? When's the last time they saw each other? Like, how did they specifically last leave each other?
That's the very last time we don't know, because a lot has happened in 4 years.
We don't know.
I mean, as far as what we've seen in the show,
the
last time we saw them, when they finally got to the ocean at the end of season 3.
Yeah, it was the last time. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sam. My bad.
I was just gonna say that I think it's deeper than that. I think that there was something that happened in between these past 4 years between them two.
Yeah,
because not only has Armin not even uttered, Eren's name, he hasn't even really looked at him. He didn't have to look at him. He didn't even had to think about him. It's just he's there because he knows he has to be. But I really do feel like there was a bad falling out, because otherwise it would be kind of like there would be remorse inside of Armin's eyes for what he just did. You know what I'm saying? It's more so like there's something else that's happened to him, and something else that happened between them too. And I'm really curious to see what that actually is, and I think that's going to be panned out later on. Now, in terms of like Jarrell's question, though, I've gotten myself prepared to the realization that Eren might be the villain of the story. I posed this question to Todd. I was what if the situation is that Eren, at a certain point, Eren doesn't necessarily need them at a certain point. Eren can really do what he really wants to do when the time comes. And I'm not saying, he's just going to go up and kill Zeke, or he's going to go and do this, but he can technically do certain things to pull strings that he can really go and master this whole entire thing. He can take over. And it's the question of, what does the scouts do? Can they take out Eren? Like, not just physically, but this is their boy. even no matter what they've done, no matter what they're saying now, if he ends up becoming the actual Hitler of this situation, what comes next? And I feel like it could. I'm sorry. Like, even though he showed a level of emotion that gives me a little bit of semblance of hope, you know, that there's the redemption story potentially for him. But I've already reserved in my head that he could be the villain of all this. And I don't know. Yeah. I really have no clue. I'm not saying he's going to be a Daenerys situation panned out better. I don't understand that at the end of the day, what if?
It was what if? Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Now I think just for the writing's sake, it would be a better Daenerys type situation. As opposed to, you know, him just falling into villainhood at the very end. Like the simple fact that you've seen him, like if it is, let me go there. If he's actually the villain of this story, man, this has been the longest feel emotion for the villain type backstory thing that I've ever seen done in any kind of modern writing, movie, book, whatever. Like the fact that we fully understand, we're fully intimately aware of why he does, at least of his motivations. Maybe we can't reckon with what he's doing, but at least the motivations was like, we know what happened to him. We could feel and understand seeing your mother dying, finding out that you know, essentially ended your dad, but that was of his design kind of situation. Like, that's crazy in and of itself. But yeah, no, if this is just a longest arc ever, be like, yeah, that's the guy. That's the villain by the end of the story. It is clear. It is understood. We're not even in gray moments anymore. The type of thing we could probably watch this season over and be like, dang, we saw all those signs, but we still were rooting for Eren kind of situation. I'm like, that's amazing, right?
Like we were so caught up in the fact that and to your point, Chitty, we were so, as an example, we were so caught up in the fact that Zeke was looking for Levi that we didn't notice the first thing he said was, Eren is not my enemy.
Right.
He was actually giving us the clue right there. Now at the end of this episode, we see it, but he was really like, yeah, he's not my enemy. And it makes more sense to what Levi did, you know, causing that distraction to seem like he killed himself and killed Zeke to get Zeke out of there. That makes so much more sense right now. You know, so now I guess now going forward, we are going to have to really look at certain things with a fine-tooth comb, going through these next 8 episodes, at least until it all builds up in the end. For example, what we see right here, now that the lower beard is off, I believe that is Annie.
Man,
somehow I think that is Annie.
Like her eyes, I can't see the color, and they did a really good job, like, you know,
drawing it kind of,
But she's always had these dead set eyes,
right?
And that's the thing. It's not even so much the hair; it's the look in the eyes. And it's kind of like, at what point did they even get her out? At what point did she realize what's going on? And that's what makes these next 2 episodes, I'm assuming, of the 4 years, way more interesting. Right. If that is actually Annie, because it technically would say that she's been there for the past 3 years. Because that's what it said. She recognized that I seen this girl 3 years ago, or this person 3 years ago. And it could have been she went back. I don't know.
Could be. It could also be that they turned. This is someone that they just happened to turn, you know, in that group. But I mean, we won't know till they reveal it. But we're gonna get some form of as we saw in the preview, we're gonna get some form of a dedication or something for Sasha. Everybody's gonna come to grips with that. That's gonna come to the forefront. And somebody's gonna rip into Eren about that
again.
We're
right, for Erwin.
Right. We're going to need we're going to need to see what happened in those 4 years. Something in those 4 years caused a rift and made Eren decide to go on his own.
Right.
And I think that he might have discussed that plan and stuff with him and Zeke had a discussion. They came back. He probably talked to the scout team about that stuff, and they were like, "Look, it's just not in the cards, you know."
Yeah.
And while they're used to doing stuff for Eren, because Eren being the attack titan, knowing that they had a titan to actually help them, they've always been willing to do what they got to do for him. But I think they drew the line in the sand with this, and he decided to go off on his own. And they came back to being the dedicated people they are to save him, as they always do, which is probably part of their job, as it was since Levi commanded him. But now it's a big cost. It's too big a cost, and they're not having it. So we definitely got to see the dedication to Sasha. They're going to bring that up, how everybody deals with that. They're definitely going to do what happened in the 4 years, and Eren having to reconcile with all his colleagues in some way, shape, or form later on. But I still want to know what happened to Annie, if that was Annie or not. And we still need to know what this plan is from Zeke. What they're trying to do, what happened right after Zeke turned his parents in. Like, we need a path of Zeke. We need Zeke to tell us, well, what happened that led to this point. So we're missing a couple stories that are interweaved in here. So we're missing Zeke's story. We're missing the 4 years from the sea, and I think what's going to happen is, I think Sam is right. I think at some point, Eren is going to enact this plan. He's going to be able to use the founding titan without restriction. However, I don't believe Zeke is going to be the person to do it. I for some reason, I think it's going to be an outside entity or someone else. Maybe Historia, for all we know, but somebody else is going to help Eren in a way to utilize the founding titan. He's going to take it too far. There's going to be the walls of Paradise are going to come down. All the titans are going to come out, and they're going to end up having to stop Eren in order to save the world. But knowing the scout team, they don't want to kill Eren, especially they don't want to deal with Mikasa. But we're either going to have, like Jarrell said, a Game of Thrones, Queen of Dragon thing where Mikasa kills Eren,
right?
Or they find a way to save him, and they regain that that bright-eyed, fierce, always have an attitude boy become man that they had been dealing with so many years prior. So that's kind of what I think. I think it's the hero becomes the hero so long you live to see become the villain, and then it's going to be his friends or Mikasa that's gonna save him, like Mobile Fighter G Gundam. You know what I'm saying? They're just
not that forgiving, in my opinion.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's forgiving at all. Like, he's still gonna have to deal with the destruction and stuff that he is going to cause, but they're going to try to rescue him at some point, and either they rescue him by killing him, or they rescue him by actually saving him, and stopping this thing altogether. But I don't think it's going to be. I don't think they've never said it in a redemption kind of thing. Even with a happy ending, there has always been some kind of issue at the end. Even when they got to the sea, there was that looming feeling of, well, what's beyond the sea? And remember, Eren was like, what's beyond the sea is more people trying to kill us. We don't see that till the next till episode, till the next season. But I agree. I don't think AOT is that forgiving, but even if they give you a quote unquote good ending, it's not without its own set of tragedy behind it.
Straight pirate victory.
Yeah. It's an empty victory.
Introduce such strong characters like Falco and like Gabby, without a consequence. Like, even more so than the fact that, yes, Zeke is now working with the scouts. Cool. We have no idea what that actually means. Right. But he even said they are the miscalculation. And I don't know what they're going to do with these kids, because technically these kids to me are symbolic of the future, no matter what. Even if they go back to the Paradise Island or they go back to where they came from, they are the future. So because you only have a certain, 9 years to even have the.
I think it's 13 years. Once you've ingested a Titan, it's 13 years.
So it's kind of like they are the future no matter what. And I don't know what that means moving forward. And I think that's what makes this show so unpredictably and amazingly loving to me, because I have no idea where this is gonna go. But yeah, we've gone way too long. We've gone like an hour and 10. You need to kind of
here's what I know. I know you fellas are awesome. Take us out of here, Sam.
Episode. 1 to 10.
Oh, who you want to start? Who you want to go first? You start, Sam. You start.
Oh, go ahead, Ant.
Wait, 1 to 10. What was the question?
What your rating of the episode?
Oh, this is a clear 10. This is a clear 10. Like, it's just for being able to bridge from action into non-action, but not as much action and more suspense. Yeah, no. They found a way to keep the suspense, keep the tension, have us worrying about or thinking about what's coming forward. So yeah, 10, hands down.
For me, I'll answer. For me, it's like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. I think the last episode easily was a 10 out of 10 for me. It was one of the best episodes of the entire series. This episode had a lot that it had to do, because it had no action technically, but it had a lot of big questions that shaped the foundation of what your thoughts about what the show is gonna be moving forward, even more so than what season 4 has already done. Like, the fact that they're able this is the 8th episode to do something like this, and you still got 8 more episodes left. I don't know, man. This felt like a mid-season finale, and it was amazing to me. But yeah, 9 to me. Terrell or Ty?
So I gotta be honest. I'm gonna give it a solid 8. And I know that's crazy, but here I'm giving it a solid 8. I'm taking away 2 points for 2 reasons. And nothing against that episode. I think it was a really great episode, but I'm giving it a solid 8 because, one, Sasha's gone. And this is probably why I shouldn't give him an 8, because they've built up, the character, really got us close to her, and for her to be gone, it really pulled that emotion out, which is what they wanted to do. But because we invested so much because of what she's done and how she is, and because the intrigue is there that they took her out, I still feel bad they took her out. So I got to take a point.
Wait,
I got to take a point. Okay. I'm just being real with you. Like I said, I'm for that one, I'm taking it because I'm really salty. Like, I'm really hurt she's gone. Like, great job. I did, but it doesn't mean I wanted to be right about it. Like, it's Potato Girl. You don't want Potato Girl. It's Potato Girl. You don't want Potato Girl to go. And we literally we haven't even seen all of it yet because we're still missing the 4 years. But she went from being this lofty, this up in the air, I'm just always hungry, I need some food, to a hero that saved a little girl in the village from being eaten by another Titan, to now, a bona fide G with a sniper rifle. Like, we've seen her growth, and when you see somebody grow like that, you don't just want them, you don't want some little kid with a rifle who's salty to be the reason she goes, like, all this fear and all this stuff about her, about being eaten by a Titan, all that stuff she went through, almost getting eaten by all these Titans, saving that little girl and everything else for just some random kid to just come out of nowhere and shoot her with a rifle. That I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but it doesn't mean I wanted to be right, you know. And although it's very good for the story, very good for the intrigue, I'm a little hurt and I'm a little salty that she's gone. So yeah, I got to take a point. Like it's like, yo, it's like Bill dude. Like, look, that's a great job, but can I tell you something? You know, you done effed up, right? Like that's how I feel. You know, the other thing, the only other point is more so to what Sam said. It's like after episode 7, how do you come back from that? And mind you, they gave us some really good plot twists and intrigue, especially with Zeke and the whole miscalculation of the kids coming up on the blimp, and you know, the fact that folks aren't really feeling Aaron right now, especially after Sasha. But I just don't think it was enough for me to leave it at a 9. You know, like we definitely sat here and talked for an hour and 15 plus minutes about it, but we really spent more time. We really spent more time on the things that we haven't seen yet versus what we had right here. And yeah, there are questions, and yeah, we did talk about it, but I just don't think it's enough for me to keep it at a 9. But that's really only because episode 6 and 7 were just so major, you know, and we were on this level up here, and now we've kind of come back down, and I thought we were going to probably be about here. I wasn't expecting us to stay here, but we were coming back here, and we kind of came back a little lower than I expected. So for me, it's a solid 8, 8.5 or so, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I'm stuck between like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 for the episode. I feel like the season, the series in general has been like the batting average in general. So yeah, probably about 9 or 10 out of 10. For me, it's just gonna be difficult to sort of figure out where I want to place the show compared to like my favorite animes. That's the real hang up. But this episode was fantastic, though, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have any questions about that. By the time this whole series is done, this sucker is going to sit above everything else I have ever experienced, with the exception of Akira. Like,
yeah, I was just going to say I cannot do that because anime for me is probably wildly different from you guys, but tastes are a little bit different. But yeah, even when what you just said, like, can I really compare this to like the first time I saw Ghost in the Shell or Akira? I don't know about this.
Right.
I think it's like a real difference though, because those are films and this is the show.
Right. So
that's what I was going to that.
Shows and
series that that's why I kind of calibrate them differently. Like as a series, this is the best anime series I've ever seen. I know about the best
number one
media. I don't know about that between the movie and the show.
Not at all.
But
I actually I don't maybe I'm just weird like that, but for anime I don't make that distinction. It doesn't particularly matter whether it's a series or a movie. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where I place it. For sure.
Yeah, I think at the end, and I can certainly understand that, Jarrell, because at the end of the day, I mean, and honestly, the same thing can be said for any type of media, whether it's movies, TVs, or whatever. It's a story. Whether the story is told in an hour and a half to 2 hours, or it's told over the course of 3 to 4 seasons, you know, there's a story there. So the question really isn't, is it the best anime overall? Is it the best TV series or the best anime movie overall? The question is this the best anime story overall?
That's a good question.
And and the thing is, from the aspect of like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, and you know, the good, you know, the ones of those nature, like you can even throw in Ninja Scroll, Wicked City, you can throw in Dragon Ball Z, you can even throw in the original Dragon Ball if you want.
Wait, are we considering Avatar or no? Last Airbender.
So
I know why you wouldn't.
So here's the thing. I think we can throw it in, but we also have to remember anime as we know it is yes, it's an asterisk because this is actually not that one's not originated in Japan, right. But it's inspired by it, which is why I would throw it in there. Yeah. But for me right now, unless this sucker goes and pulls the last 8 episodes of AOT is something like the last 8 episodes of Game of Thrones. Like unless they do some mess like that, which I don't think will happen, this sucker is gonna sit on top of my list. Like when I'm sitting here telling y'all I'm waiting for this thing to be over so I can order all the manga books and read them through, you know, and that's saying something because look, if you look back here. You know, at the very top are all my the manga books I have up there, and at the top, over here is the whole Yu-Gi-Oh series, right? Like the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, and then the Duelist series. In the middle, between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, is the Yu-Gi-Oh Millennium World one, and off to the right here, that whole list back there is Shaman King. You know, so. I love Naruto. I love, you know, Afro Samurai, Case Closed, and all that stuff. And even Full Metal Alchemist. I don't have the full series of those. You have to have a really good and compelling story to make me feel like I should get the manga for you. And I'm promising you, I am going to probably blow a couple $100 after this thing is over and get the whole entire manga series and read through it. That's how impressive this series is for me. So if I'm going to do that, you're definitely up there on my list. But I think as far as anime stories go, unless they go left in these next 8 episodes, Attack on Titan will probably be the best anime story for me overall. It might actually take Akira off the top. And the main reason Akira is up there is because that's kind of where everything started.
Yep.
But to see the progression and see where it is, that might take it off the top. It won't take it too far down though. It'll probably be second, but still.
Man, I forgot what I was about to say because literally I was just thinking about Akira. I was like, God damn, Akira's like almost untouchable for me personally. But
yep.
Man, that's a great film. Shit.
I think I bought like 2 or 3 versions of that film in terms of media.
Right now, right?
What's that?
4K version of Akira is available.
Oh yeah,
is it?
This is what I was gonna say. I was gonna say first off, I'm not connected to anime like I used to, so I don't know what the viewpoint of the series is in today's time. But I just gotta say real quick, the show Wolf's Rain is like one of my favorite shows of all time. And niggas, I would never spoil. We're still recording, right? We're still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording.
I would never spoil my niggas, but Judas and the Black Messiah is out, and I swear to God, there's a song that's played repeatedly in there that I swear it's like some weird rendition of Paradise from Wolf's Rain. But anyways.
Wow.
We're going to talk about that later.
I swear. I swear.
We got to go.
Take us out of here.
You guys watching this, you guys are amazing. Make sure you like, make sure you go to the description right below. Check out Jarrell's channel. And we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Later.
Support black YouTubers.